Yeah.
And welcome back to the Shit Behind the Show. Real quick, thank you to all of you who have been listening, subscribing, following, and going along my journey so I can help you with yours. Also, thank you to those of you that have been listening, joining, and I guess watching. I can only post this on YouTube because I can't get the sound, the audio to upload to the podcasting. I don't know. I'm being technologically dumb lately. We're fighting. Anyway, but thank you for watching. So on the last episode, we went into a little bit. Oh, sorry. Welcome, Heather. I'm just like talking away. We went into a little bit of trusting again, forgiving. For those of you that didn't watch the last episode, go back and watch the last three as Heather shares her story of domestic violence and survival. So we touched on a little bit of the fact that there are people in our lives now that we share the story with, obviously, and friends and stuff that have never been through anything like this, and yet they probably have an opinion. And one thing that I've discussed a lot is, and I've heard over and over and over, well, two things. One, I love this question. You're going to cringe. What did you do? What did you do to piss him off? That is one that I have probably almost punched people for that.
Yeah, then they'd be like, "Why'd you punch me?" It's like, "Well, what did you do to piss me off?"
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. What did you do? It's like, what did you do to deserve it? Like no one.
I don't know.
Right.
It's something egregious, apparently. Like, come on. That's so.
But I
I,
get a lot, or have in the past.
yeah,
Uh, Another one is, well, after the first sign, what what made you stay? Why didn't you leave?
yeah. Why didn't you leave? That's probably one that I have heard a lot, including the detectives that spoke with me, because I did a deposition with detectives for building a trial for what happened to me. And it was a female detective, and she said, "I really hate myself for asking this question, but I have to for this." And she asked, "Why didn't you leave?" And my answer's never been anything other than I didn't know that it was going to get the way that it did. And by the time that I seen where it was heading, I was too afraid.
Yeah.
Then he did this to me, and he wasn't arrested by anybody right away. I didn't come forward, but he wasn't arrested or questioned or anything like that. So he still had my children. And if I spoke to anybody at the hospital and he even got paranoid about it, was to say that he wouldn't have done anything. And then three, where am I going to go? Who am I going to call? Because yes, I do believe people when they say, "I'm here for you. I'm here to help you." Well, at 2 in the morning, if I've just gotten beat up and I'm like, "Oh my God, I have nowhere to go. Can I come to you?" How many people, I mean, I'm not judging anybody or getting mad at anybody, but sometimes that offer is not always sincere. Sometimes that's just a nice thing to say. It's like "Oh, how are you today?" Like sometimes you don't really like that's just like a pleasantry. People want to tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry. How can I help?" Well, some people they do want to help, but other people they just think that they should want to help, so they offer.
Yeah.
And so those are my reasons. I mean, they might not be good reasons, but they are my reasons.
And I feel like so I've got the core wound of feeling like a burden. And I
Yeah.
feel like I feel the need by these men. And so even if someone's saying, call me anytime I'm there for you, we are not going to reach out because we truly, just to your point, we're like, no, you have your own life
Yeah.
during you. I'm probably not going to reach out. But I do have one best girlfriend that while I was in Hawaii, for some unknown reason, we still don't even know. she felt the urge to reach out and just be like, "How was your honeymoon? Are you okay?" I was on my honeymoon. Why would she ask if I'm okay? And I remember sitting in a vehicle with him. We were going to, I wanted to go see a Japanese temple. And I was sobbing, bruises, cuts. I was sobbing still. Like, how in the fuck did this happen?
Yeah.
And she texted me, and I was like, he just beat me. And she's like, I will kill him. Like, to this day, she's still like, I will never forget that text. And she was there for me the from that moment on, still to this day. So
Yeah.
there are, but do they truly, if they've never been in those shoes, they truly just don't get it. Like, you could tell, I would tell you, damn it, Heather, if I find out you're in trouble and you didn't freaking call me, you're in some shit.
Exactly. Like, but you're so right though, because yeah, most of the time I'm like, man, a lot of my stuff's kind of unique. Some of my challenges, because sometimes I just want to bitch about my eyes, but like how many people do I know that have problems with their eyes? None. So like it's a weird thing because then I get asked like, well, what's happening with it? Well, I'm gonna be talking to or I'm working with a surgeon and there's just all these questions and I'm like, I don't know. And then I get frustrated and like sometimes people want to know things that I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it with you, but like at the same time, they want to help. And so it never comes from a bad place. So I try really hard to be mindful of how I respond when I'm not feeling up to it because it's like I don't feel like it ever comes out of a bad place when people are like trying to like help with different things, but sometimes I'm like I don't want your help.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And also the thought of, you don't even know, this is your first time. You don't know what you have coming to you, like as far as the internal emotion, the trauma. I feel like getting out there dating again after divorce, period, is hard. But when you're in that situation, you don't know how you're going to react, even after a long journey of healing.
Yeah. When I hear people getting loud, and if it's especially if it's a man, it's a reflex for me to just like, I am ready. Like, come closer to me and I'm gonna knock you out. Like, it's just a feeling that I get. But then other times it's like a weird, like adrenaline rush. And I think that's what it is. It's like the fear. And my response used to be to just not do anything. And now I'm probably hyper aware, which is not always fun, but I'm safe. So I'm I'm working on being able to assess the situations better, and because people are just loud, I'm loud. So sometimes people aren't even being aggressive, but just men are still really triggering for me. I don't mean it to be that way, and I don't mean to be ugly when I say that, but it's like I just I have a hard time with it.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just, you said it, triggering. And I want to talk a little bit about the future. And again, how do I even say, I don't even know how to articulate this. Um, this is all new to you. You don't even know, right, everything that's coming to you. But what are you most excited about?
I am most excited about finishing my book and getting that published and seeing what happens from there. It's been a pretty grueling process, but I'm almost done. And I feel like it's going to change the world. And I'm looking forward to that because I don't hold back on anything in the book because I have not forgotten anything that's happened to me. I remember everything that happened for the entirety. I remember timelines. I remember everything. And my hope has been that once I'm done with the book, that like maybe my brain is making me hold on to it so hard because like I'm meant to get it down. And once everything's done, then maybe it will like kind of like let go a little bit and I can put some different things just behind me.
I didn't even know you were writing a book. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm mostly done with it. It's kind of more in a I guess you'd call it your rewrite stage where I've had someone read over it and just kind of come back with notes on like what types of things, because initially I just wanted to get it down and then I was getting frustrated with the process and then I was just it's like, you know what? I have just got to stop. Like I'm gonna just cram it into a weekend. And I did that. In like 3 days. Like I did not do anything but like write. And it was insane. I was so grungy by the end of it. But it was really good because I was like, no, I have got basically, yeah, first draft done. But my problem is that I've been having a hard time finding motivation to go back into it because like I need to finish it, but for me to finish it, I have to like go through everything again, and it's heavy. And the more I heal, I feel the harder it is for me to relive it in that way because I had so much of my guard up still at that point when I started it or when the things were going on that now that I've healed and I've done a lot of work for myself, I get really angry when I'm writing it and I get really judgmental of myself because the person that you're seeing now would never let something like that happen. And so it's a lot. But I work through it in therapy and I am hoping to be done with it very, very soon.
That is amazing. I am so happy. I can't wait to read it. I'm so happy for you.
It's
That's a lot.
it is a lot and it's going to be a lot for people to read. I no, it's a lot. I've already made my parents promise me that they'll never read it. I've already told them that because it's conflicting. Like, I don't want the people that care about me most to know everything that happened to me. That's why, like, even with some of my videos that I've made, I have my first one on Facebook, but then after that, all of my other ones have just been on TikTok because I have different family members that, like, I don't really want them to know what happened. Like, I want them to know because I do, but then I don't because I know that they love me and they get angry and they get upset and feel all those types of way about it. So no, I've made my parents promise me that they will not read the book, and if anything comes from that, that they will not consume it in any way because I don't want them to know. And so it's hard. It's like I want to help people, but I want to protect my people.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough, but at the same time, whoever chooses to read it, I mean, it's kind of an enter at your own risk type of thing. Like, if you read the back and you still want to keep going, like, okay, let's go.
I started to write a book years ago. I've got the title. I started it and working on that a little bit the other day. I think I told you I just cried. It's so therapeutic to just get it out, right? To just put it on paper and get it out. And um I follow this therapist, Sven Erlandson, and I've been reading his book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. And he suggests that you journal and you write letters to those that have hurt you and be honest and raw and real. And then obviously don't send it, but just get it all out. And that's therapeutic. So I'm guessing that like obviously you're gonna go through the like this roller coaster of emotion while you're writing it, but
Yeah.
it's gonna feel like so liberating to just get it out. Sure.
Yeah. Um, it it's gonna get dark. It is dark, obviously. But I mean, even like I'm not gonna go back and change anything. I've decided that early on because whatever I'm feeling in the moment, because I write whenever I'm like ready to write because I want it to be authentic and real and not forced.
Mhm.
And so when I talk about his death and finding out about it, like it's pretty raw and it's pretty ugly and it's pretty hateful. And there's a part of me that feels very guilty for it, but I meant every word that I wrote. And that's how I ended the chapter. I said what I said.
I love that. I
That's what the end of that chapter said is I said what I said.
that is
And it's yeah, it's gonna be wild, but I think that the world's ready for it. I think that people are tired of seeing so much hatred and so much anger and so much violence that like it's time for the world to like worry about things that are important like this and put attention on it and like not let these dirtbags hide in the dark.
I agree. And the divorce rate now is 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? Um, and I think it's super important to understand that we're in this world of there's so much out there to help with the way with healing ourselves and treating others and with social media and everything, like people, what are you thinking when you're being a nasty human and being abusive? What do you think is going to happen? There are outlets everywhere now. You're going to get caught. It's going to
Yeah.
be, I don't care if it's physical abuse, a cheating, whatever it may be, it's going to be found out. So maybe go do your work and get,
Well, and also for those people, they should know that more people support us than support them. And I'm not afraid of any of them.
Mhm.
I am not afraid of anyone.
Yeah, they're
Let's
cowards.
go.
And to your point of feeling protective, holy shit. There is something in me that if I feel like somebody that close to me is, and I'm this little, like, don't get me wrong, I'm 5'8" and I'm this little tiny thing, right? I am not harmful. But there is something in me that's like, oh yeah, bitch, come at me. Because I will like
Yeah.
don't mess with my people. Don't mess with my people more than don't mess with me. Because I will fucking come at you.
Yeah, my little sister told me that one time. She's like, I learned how to fight from you and to stick up for myself from you because of the way you would talk to people and be like, "Hey, you're not going to talk to my sister like that," and like I've always felt like I could stick up for people a lot better than myself, but now I've been doing it a lot better for myself because it's like, why should I protect everybody else and then leave myself out in the dark? Like that doesn't even make any sense. So I'm working on advocating for myself more. But my problem is I worry about hurting people's feelings whenever people aren't worried about hurting mine. So it's like, okay, let's just be fair.
I'm that same way. It creates so much empathy in your heart that it's like, oh, I just want to, I'm very aware of like how mean I can be with my words, and I try to be really cautious
Yeah,
with my dream is to have a man one day that truly just takes that on and is like, no, no one will fuck with you. I
yeah,
got, right. I'm going to keep you safe. You don't have to worry about any of this anymore. But for now, we are essentially Wonder Woman. We have got to just get back up, which we have. You have. I seriously just can't tell you how much I look up to you, and especially the kind. Like you're amazing too. You got like right back up, and you're like, oh yeah, watch me.
E- I I don't know where it came from, but like I don't feel that I've ever like failed at anything because I don't ever give up. And it's like my initial reason for wanting to get better in the hospital was to get my kids. Like I wasn't even worried about getting better for me. Like I mean, of course, I guess I knew it would be like a byproduct is sort of like how I started it out. Like you get right for your kids and then you'll get right in the meantime. Well, my therapist starting out really hated that and she really had to like be like no, because she's like, well, what do you want to get better? And I'm like, I want to get better for my kids. And she's like, and yourself. And I'm like, well, yeah. And she's like, no, quit saying, well, yeah, like you need to get better for yourself because then if you're better for yourself, it all falls into line. And so I just keep finding things, new goals to hit because if I stop doing that, then I stop moving. And if I stop moving, then I fall into depression, and that's no good for anyone. So I think that's why I just kind of keep the ground running so that way I can just keep moving forward and don't stop.
Yeah. It's it, surviving something like that does put this strength in you and this fight and
Yeah.
courage. I mean, for me anyway, and I can tell for you that you're just like, I'm unstoppable. I'm going to follow those dreams. I'm going to live that life because as you were talking about, and I barely want to touch on this, but you were talking about in that moment, right? When all of this was going down, I remember thinking, I'm not going to survive. Like, I'm never going to see my kids again. And it was a real thought. And so now it's like, I survived. What else can I conquer in life? Come on. Let's do it.
Well, basically, the way I put it is that I survived the devil, so I feel like anything else is kind of like what? I don't even know. I have no idea what I would even need to be afraid of at this point. I don't.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, I know I'm not invincible. It's not that, but it's like I just don't. I'm not worried about it because I know I've got me. So we're good.
What is a message that you can put out there and something that you would like to say to some of those women that are just like, I'm scared, in the shoes that we were in. This person is my stability. This person is my love. They father my children, mother even. I mean, men go through this stuff too. We can't discriminate on what is a message that you would like to get out to them and their mindset right now and maybe to encourage them to seek help or get out.
I would first tell them that they're not alone and that I believe them and I hear them because that is sometimes the hardest thing is telling your story and then somebody being like, it's bullshit or they just don't understand. And that's really defeating. And so that's how I would start. But I'd also want them to understand that they didn't do anything wrong, but that they're in an addiction right now because it's addicting. Toxicity is addicting and that roller coaster. So, yes, even though they are experiencing that, there's something in them that's going to crave it for a while. And that's why they go back. That's why we go back, is because it's like that feeling of emptiness. And I know that there's a lot of people that are listening that like know exactly what I'm talking about. I can tell you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that whenever you can look at it for yourself and say, look, am I just addicted to this situation? Like, what is my draw? Like, I would ask any of the people that are considering leaving, when was the last time that this person made you happy? What was the last moment that you felt safe? And if you have an answer to that, it's time. If you have to like look back and think of a time that you felt safe, you have not been safe this whole time. And I would say that you need to cut and run and you need to move forward because we don't read books backwards. We keep moving forward. And I would always go with the evil that I don't know versus the evil that I know because I already know what happens there. I've already done that story, and I would just encourage them to just look at themselves and to know it's not their fault, but then to tell themselves, you know what? It's done. We need to move forward now. And I know it's not always that simple. It's easy for me to talk about it now because I'm not in any type of threatening situation. So make sure that you're in a position that you can get out safely. Some people are not, and some people, they don't have the means to do so. And so I would ask the people that haven't gone through this type of thing and that want to offer some type of help, as crazy as it sounds, sometimes just giving them money for gas to get them out of their house, put them up in a room under your name. Like there are ways that we can help besides trying to be directly in it. Like talk to them, find out, why are you staying? When was the last time you were happy? Why are you staying? Because yes, we do hate that question. But I think that if you ask it at the right time and more of a why are you staying, like currently, like we're talking about this now, you're feeling this way, what is it? And like it's going to be a hard conversation and people aren't going to want to answer right away. So you have to try your best to not let them get defensive because I know I'm very aggressive sometimes. Like if I want to know something from you, I'm probably going to be like, Christine, I need you to just talk to me about it right now. And you're going to say, I can't right now. And I'm going to, because I do, and you feel that way whenever you see somebody that is struggling so hard. But you have to understand that that's their struggle and that you just need to kind of hitch your wagon and say, look, where can I help? Where can I help pull you out a little bit? Like that's kind of what I got right now.
Um, I did not expect that. I am over here
I'm sorry.
together. No, don't apologize because that when you said you're not alone, that is one thing that I remember. Holy shit. Sorry. This is not even my story. Um, that is one thing that I remember is who's gonna believe me? And that is one thing that that's a message that I would get out to every woman is
Yeah.
that you are believed. It is real. I remember a detective coming and talking to me. And my first husband, he punched holes in the walls past my face. I think I told you, like, just he didn't make contact with my face. And he was very emotionally abusive. And the detective pulled me aside and, he got arrested for domestic violence. And he asked me, what is it going to take for you to leave? Is it going to take contact? Why won't you leave? And you know what I said? He doesn't have anyone. He needs me. He
Yeah.
needs me. He doesn't have anyone. And what will he do without me? And, I've got these kids to take care of. And I remember with the physical, I was like, who's going to believe me? Really? Is that believable that on your honeymoon, you're almost asleep, no argument, out of nowhere, a guy just pulls you out of bed by your arm and starts throwing you into walls and furniture and beating the shit out of you? Like, who's going to believe me? So I love that you said that because I know firsthand that that is one thing that was the first thought that went through my mind. And as I would tell the story, I almost felt like these bruises, this is weird to even say, but I want these bruises to stay so people believe that I actually went through this.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay because this is an emotional thing. And I truly believe that it's like an addictive type thing. I do believe that it's like an addiction for that reason. It's very hard. He was the hardest drug I've ever quit in my entire life. And I quit him cold turkey. And I think that that's why I wanted to call him every day. I don't think that I really missed him. It was like a craving, like I was quitting smoking or something, you know? And I think that a lot of the times when you're in it, he needs me. Who else is he going to go to? What's he going to do without me? You know, that's something to really like if you find yourself saying things like that, that's whenever it's like, okay, well, am I getting something out of this? Like, what am I feeding right now by continuing? Like it's all an ugly cycle. And when you're out of it, you can see it. It's kind of like knowing somebody that's an addict. You know they're in there. You know you want to reach them, but you don't know what it takes. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So honestly, if I were to tell anybody, like it's sort of the same thing. Like go into it like you're dealing with a loved one who is struggling with an addiction. Go into it with compassion and with love and make them understand that they're bigger than whatever their craving is.
Yes.
Like
You
it's
you hit the nail on the head when you said it's like an addiction, but it's also like for me, it was like, but I had a best friend. Like he adored the fuck out of me. Like he loved me. Um, he was my best friend. We grew up together, and now he's turned into this monster. And so there was this little part of me that was like just held on to hope.
yeah,
He's
that was
he's gonna see my worth, you know.
yeah. And that's why every situation is different, like some people abuse can start right away. Some people it takes years and there's so many factors to consider. It's not a black and white concept. Abuse is an incredibly gray area because it varies on what it is, different people, what they can handle, their upbringing. I mean, there's so many factors to consider in that. And so, no, I mean, I can't imagine what that was like for you to like you got married very young. This is like the person, I mean, I feel that like, but I no, I don't think that there was anything wrong with you for staying.
Yeah,
I don't.
and again, this is us. We lived it, we survived it, and we're here to talk about it, and we're here to help others see we've been there. We get you. We're running out of time again, but we get you.
Yeah. Yes.
And please reach out to anyone who is in this situation or feel like you could be. First, number one, the gut tells you. The
Always.
gut tells you that something is off. And I remember just feeling so sick and just this gut wrenching, like something isn't right in both situations. Like I just, like something is just the second marriage. I didn't want to marry that guy. Like I just was just like, why? We get along. Like we have this dynamic. The kids all get along. Like, why?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Why change a good thing?
and I wasn't physically attracted to him, beside the point. But I thought that was it, right? It's like, oh, cold feet, and now going into my dating life and my situations, I follow the gut. And
Yeah.
it's not always, I don't always listen, right? But I know it's there. So I'm like, yellow flags, I'm being cautious here. And then they pop up and I'm like, there it is. There it
Yeah.
is. I'm out before it gets bad. But that's one thing that I would say also. Follow the gut.
Yeah.
If something feels off, I don't care how sweet they're being. I got roses all the time. My ex-husband, both of them actually, both of them. I always had roses. Always had roses delivered. One set would die, they would send me more. Like both of them.
Mhm.
What woman doesn't want that shit? I was taken on vacations and dates, and who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
But
But what did Miley Cyrus say though? I can buy myself flowers, okay? So like
I'm like, boy, you provide a safe space for me. I'll buy myself flowers and pay for my own vacation.
exactly, I'll do my own thing, thanks. Okay.
Well, again, I could do this forever. I would love to have you on my show more, even just talk about other things, dating.
I'd love to.
I would
Yes.
love it, especially when that book is finished. Let's promote that shit and get that out there. And
Yes.
we are friends and will
Right.
be.
I love you.
for you. I love you. We text, we talk. I love it. I'm so grateful that I met you, and thank you so much for sharing this. I appreciate you so much. Um, Thank you to everyone who has watched this, listen, follow, subscribe. Heather's got her story, like she said, on TikTok. We're going to be watching out for that book. I will be promoting that.
Love
And
it. Thank you.
until next time, love you all. Bye.